What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and I wanted to do a quick note before the video gets started. Not going to make this long because this video is already about 30 minutes, so a lot to go over today, but wanted to let you guys know an update. I am going to be giving away 3 different slots for my guild. And basically the way you're going to enter this is you are going to email me at the email popping up on screen right now, and it is also in the About Me for the channel. Email me with your username on YouTube so I know you're a subscriber, and then as well as just a screenshot of your roster for your team. I don't want you to send me anything as far as like your player ID or none of that. Don't send that. Just send me your roster, a picture real quick of maybe sort them by, your top characters, your fast characters, whatever. All we ask from you in the guild is that you do the guild raid, either expert or hard every day, and you donate and check in every day. That's all we ask. We're not going to have any other stipulations on this. Just make sure send me a screenshot of your roster, like I said, and then your username here on YouTube so I can confirm you are a subscriber, because this is a celebration for subscribers only. So make sure if you want to be a part of a quality guild, especially with the lunatic difficulty coming up here in the coming weeks, hopefully, you will have a home, and we are very active as far as our top players go. So looking for more active players. Thank you guys again. We're almost at 500 subs. Let's get there before the end of the month. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you send me that email, and I will talk to you guys real soon. You have until the big review this Sunday to get your submissions in. So from the time I'm posting this video, you're going to have about 3 days or so, give or take. So anyway, guys, enjoy the video. Peace. What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and today we have a ton of information that we need to go over, not just as it pertains to King of Fighters All-Star, but also for some King of Fighters proper news. So before we get started, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Helps me out a ton as a new YouTuber. So we're going to today break down everything as it pertains to this New Year's update, and we're going to go ahead and start with the dice game here. I'll make sure to have timestamps on the screen for those of you who want to jump to your favorite part of the video. So, first things first, as you'll see here, this is going to be the new dice game. It's looking like it's pretty much set up the exact same way as any of the other dice events, and you will be able to go ahead and collect extra dice from some of the boxes from the World Drop event. As you'll see here, these will be your rewards for each round of the board. But we'll go ahead and talk about the World Drop event later on in the video. But I just wanted to go ahead and quickly talk about this. There's not a whole lot here that we need to explain or go over. There's really no strategy involved. You just make sure you roll your dice. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to probably one of the more exciting parts, and that is going to be the new Kasumi. So this new Kasumi, if you take a look here, her leadership skill is going to increase red element fighters' attack by 25% and their burn damage by 40%. So right off the bat, that's pretty good, as she will synergize very, very well with characters like Rachel and Ness-Kyo. So that is going to be fantastic. And if you see here, these are going to be her links for different characters. There's nothing very special in here, just kind of your usual fare. She doesn't have a whole lot of links with a whole lot of characters, but that's kind of atypical for some of these gold border characters. So let's go ahead and move on to her cores. If you take a look here, basically you're going to see she's going to have a 20% power charge rate increase on her kit, which is always very nice, and then she's going to deal additional burn damage equal to 150% of attack upon landing a hit if the target's HP is 60% or less, and she's going to increase her penetration by 400 for 15 seconds. So overall, her core is nothing too crazy, but she is a red balance, which is probably one of the best parts of her kit, because that means that she is going to be fantastic on a team for reviving Hell's Dungeon, probably as a third, maybe as an underleveled, just to kind of get you to where you need to be for your average, and then you can get through tier 43. She'll be great with characters like Rachel and Ness-Kyo, like I said, who are great for that, but she's going to have more burn damage on her kit. She's also going to have decreased the target's defense by 20% for 7 seconds upon landing a skill. So overall, she is not a bad character. You'll notice there, if you pay attention to her skill cooldowns, they are not the most generous things in the world, but that is pretty much to be expected yet again with a gold border character. So she's pretty standard for gold borders. I would say, though, if you need a red balance budget character, and you can almost use this as a supplement to some of the guides I've been doing, which I actually have the yellow guide ready to go. That will probably go up tomorrow. But yeah, with her, it's pretty much going to come down to if you need a red balance option to get you through Reviving Hell's Dungeon. And if you do, then yeah, she's going to be a really good option, like I said, because she's going to synergize very, very well with two of the best options in the game for that, which is going to, again, be Ness, Kyo, and Rachel. She will be a great leader for them. You know, obviously you could always go with Rachel on lead for the extra 55% to red type characters, but the burn damage increase that she offers is pretty unique, so yeah, you could definitely do worse than her. So I would say that for those of you who are maybe newer and looking for a good red balance option, then definitely a good option for you to pick. She isn't anything beyond new players, beginner players. She isn't anything that is going to be super great. You know, really, she has a couple of nice things about her kit, but otherwise the rest of it's pretty unextraordinary. So yeah, that's pretty much the 2000 Kasumi, but good for free players that need a good budget option. So this is going to be her roulette here, and I already went ahead and did the ads for this, which you want to make sure that you do every day. But this is going to be your standard fare for a roulette. There's nothing in here that is too surprising. You'll see here you can craft her, and then if you go over here, you can craft her memories. So yeah, overall, pretty much the standard thing you're already used to. You can craft her card as well. So yeah, not anything in here that is surprising, but we'll go ahead and use some of these tickets real quick, and then we will go ahead and move on to the next section of the video. These are going to be your rates. Again, not anything has changed here from the normal. So everything here, standard. That's pretty much the way it looks here with this one, but it is definitely welcome for new players. Like I said, this isn't a bad character. I would say that if you're somebody who just got into the game, then definitely try to get as much out of this as you possibly can, because again, a red balance option that is also going to have a dot, that is going to have a quality leadership skill for other red balance characters in the game, is a pretty nice little package for a free character. So definitely take advantage of this. And like I said, she's nothing super special, but she will get the job done in Reviving Hell's Dungeon. So beyond all that, let's go ahead and take a look here. You can actually, if you go to your event tab up here in the event missions, you'll see that you can get more of the roulette tickets here for doing some of these daily missions. I already did one of them here. You'll see down there, it's the secret shop. So yeah, make sure you do these every day so that you can get the most, or as many of these tickets as possible. Because like I said, she is worth building up. So speaking of is it worth it, let's talk about these new in-game shop things. So I don't even know what to say about some of this stuff. We'll move on to those here in a second. We'll start with the money ones first. So this one here, this one has a pretty steep price tag. $40 for what it is. You can go ahead and select some memories for either of the two characters that have been buffed in the new update, which those would be Orochi and Orochi Leona. You know, for those of you who are super fans of Orochi or Orochi Leona, this is actually probably worth it. You know, for 3 memories total, that's not bad for 40 bucks. This ruby package I talked about in the previous video. If this was cheap enough, it'd be worth it. You get these daily, you get this initial amount here, and then you get some daily rubies and some daily elite enhancement hammers, which are always nice. So that's not a terrible package, but price is a little steep for me. This one here, pretty nice as well. You get a bunch of capsules. It's up to 300 and it's a selector. This here, you can pretty much pick a memory of any fest in the game. This is updated with the new Christmas characters as well. So, you know, this one here is going to be a little bit pricier than some of the other ones. You know, so your mileage may vary. All of this stuff comes down to what you can afford, but it's 40 bucks. So now, speaking of pricey, this is the $80 package, and it's going to come with 4,270 rubies, and then you're going to get 5 of each token. I would pass on that one, but again, it's up to you guys. Now, if you're in the market to spend a bunch of money, this may be the package to look at. Some of these stones here, this is actually going to have the new power charge stones in it as well. So this isn't a bad package for what you're getting. but do realize that it is a little sparse on anything outside of the stones. You know, the rubies are nice, and I'm definitely not going to complain about that. It's about 4,200 rubies, like I said, but outside of the stones, there's really not a whole lot else selling this package. So really it comes down to, if you are a whale, I think this is the package that you're going to be the most attracted to, because at this point whales, their biggest focus is probably on stones. So this is, of all of them, for the whales, I think going to be the one to look at. And then for the dolphins, probably the New Year Ruby package that's going to have the hammers. And then if you're a big fan of either the newly buffed characters, that other one is going to be great, that's going to give you the memory. So let's talk about this one. This is the most interesting to me. So as we kind of speculated from the last video, from that update on the dev note, that it looks like that we are going to be able to buy pretty much whatever fest card we want for rubies, and that's 2,021 rubies for those. This here is not worth it at all, so don't even pay attention to that. But for this one here, yeah, I mean, this could be worth it to some people that don't get to summon a lot, that need to finish a set or something along those lines, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think you should. I think you should just hold off. I think that your best bet is just to save your rubies. I wouldn't be buying these. I mean, it's nice that they're doing this, but it's too much for what you're getting, in my opinion. I would wait. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to probably why most of you are here, and let's go ahead and do some comparisons on these characters that have been buffed. So I'm not going to get too much into the buffs that have happened with these guys as far as what the buffs were, because we already did that yesterday in the previous video when we talked about the buffs in the dev note. So we've already gone over that, and you know, to kind of summarize, basically we are pretty happy overall with what has happened with both of these characters. I think specifically speaking, when it comes to PvP, Orochi is looking really strong again. They did lower his cooldowns on his skills, which is a huge boon for him, which was a big problem for him previously. And they've also given him quite a bit of help in his kit, as you'll see by looking at his skills here. So overall, he's looking pretty darn strong. You know, really, he was a character that was just outdated. He used to be one of the most fantastic characters in PvP, and even for some things in PvE, and this was a long time ago when PvE was less kind of buried in the different modes, but, you know, it's nice to see him getting back to his old form. And then you'll see Orochi Leona here. This is the one I'm most excited about, just because I personally am a big fan of this design for this character, and this was one of the first vests that I ever got, so I'm a little partial to this one, but it is nice that they gave her explosion on her cores now, so that is going to be very nice for that shock explosion. And then you'll see here the rest of her kit is going to have some shock on there. She's also going to have 100% chance to ignore guard. She's going to have super armor, so she's looking really good. Some of the things that they did for her, really, I don't know. I think that she's still going to be a PvE character, but I could see, and time will tell, I could see her cracking the meta for PvP. It's just time is going to tell on that. We'll wait and see what happens in the meta as this kind of, this update gets a little bit older here, but I do think she has the potential. But we are going to go ahead. I did make sure that I got footage of both of these characters without any cards whatsoever on them in championship training, just to get a good look at their rotations damage output, so that I could then put it side by side with the new version, so you guys could kind of see the difference visually. And so that's what we're going to do. We'll take a look at the old ones for Orochi Leona first, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the new ones, and then we'll do the same with Orochi himself. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be the old Orochi Leona, and you'll be able to just see, I just went ahead and did a couple of rotations. You know, I started 1, 2, 3, and then I think went 3, 2, 1, or blah, blah, blah. I just went through her kit and just did some rotations of her skills so that you could see the numbers, and then that way you could compare them across the board to her new version. And like I said, I do not have any cards whatsoever, including a finisher card, as you can see on these characters when I did this. So it's just them, completely bare bones, and kind of what their damage output looks like. So that way you could get an idea. Since we wouldn't be able to do this anymore after the update, I figured it would be a good time to make sure I got a little bit of footage of this before that happened. So hopefully this is beneficial to you guys in some way, shape, or form if you're trying to decide whether or not you want to go ahead and go for either of these characters and maybe take part in one of those packages to get their memories. And if you are, I would say that, honestly, again, going back to kind of the previous topic, I think that that package for the 3 memories might actually be worth it if you're a big fan of these characters. I know that if these were characters that I was a huge fan of, $40 to me to kind of, if you've already got them at, say, Awaken level 10 or Awaken level 20, that's a pretty nice little package to really boost their numbers. So as you'll see here, these are the new numbers, and there's definitely a market difference. They both are improved. You'll be able to see here on their just pure numbers, from pure numbers standpoint, have improved. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that's a big fan of either of these characters, that's definitely not a bad deal for what it is. I mean, memories in this game they're kind of main selling points for packages, and being that you can pick 3 of pretty much either one, however combination you want, that's really not bad. So I figured I would put this out there for people who are big fans of either of these guys, just so they could get an idea, So we'll move on to Orochi now, and this is again going to be the old version first, and then we'll move on to the new version. But I'm definitely excited to try these characters out. I kind of want to see what we're looking at as far as Orochi Leona in PVE specifically, because again, with her, she always was half decent at PVE. Her issue is she just she was just outdated, to be honest with you. But now that she has shock and explosion on that shock, I'm pretty happy with her kit, with the explosion on there now, rather. So, we'll see. That makes her viability quite a bit different than it was before. With Orochi in PvE, I don't know. The Orochis in general, I don't think are really built for it. And this one here, having Dot on him, definitely helps. But they're kind of funky with their skills in general, and I really don't know if they're really built for that. I'm going to test both of these characters out, what little I can with what little I've invested in them. That kind of mitigates what I can do with them on my side, since I'm pretty advanced through a lot of the endgame content, so they're kind of underleveled. But, really with these two, I don't necessarily know that it is going to make a huge difference for Orochi. Time will tell. I'll test them out, and I'll definitely report back if there are anything that I find that, really change my opinion there. But as it sits right now, I'm not sold on him, but I am very interested to see what I can do with Orochi Leona. So we'll end up waiting and seeing. We'll test it out, and I will definitely update you guys as I'm able to do so. But you'll see here the new damage, and again, it is going to be improved. Went from his old version. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and be able to show you guys kind of side by side the difference here in their numbers, since I know a lot of people were excited for specifically Orochi's buffs. But let's go ahead and move on and talk about the World Drop event, and I'm going to tell you guys some kind of tips for these events. So for those of you who've never done a World Drop event, basically you can get random drops of these different letter tiles, either KOF or AS, the AS is being gold, meaning they are dropped from fewer things. And then if you go into the craft menu here, you can craft these boxes, and specifically you want to craft the purple boxes because they are going to give you possibly rubies, as you saw. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about how to get these letters, or how to farm these letters, and kind of give you some more advanced tips on things that I like to do. So first and foremost, if you go up and look at the little fireballs that are going to be above these different sections and these different modes, it'll tell you exactly what those modes drop for this. So as you'll see here, this one drops KO, F, A, and S, but that's only in Reviving Hell's Dungeon, and then Advent Dungeon is going to have a ton that are going to drop different letters. In fact, we'll go ahead and go into Advent Dungeon, and I'll do kind of a quick sweep through this and show you guys some things. So first here, if you go to these, I do these every day anyway, but you'll see here that this does have the potential to drop the A's and the S's, which again are going to be the ones that are typically going to drop the least from these different dungeons, so definitely pinpoint those typically and try to get those. I always just skip ticket this kind of stuff throughout the day, so this is kind of just my normal daily routine you're seeing here. But if you guys don't know this, if you're new, always use your gold farm team for this stuff when you're skipping. Definitely will give you a little extra gold, which is always beneficial. But yeah, you'll just want to go ahead and go through this and just skip these if you have skip tickets available. World drop events are typically where you're going to see your skip tickets dip the most. Oh, look, we ranked up. Look at that. We're getting close to 400. We're almost there. But yeah, so you can go ahead and go through here, just skip ticket through these. Like you can see there, you'll be able to get your A's and your S's potentially from this. And I am going to show you in this section the best place to go for just purely farming this event. That'll take you the least amount of time and give you the most value for your AP, in my opinion. Now, obviously, everybody's different, but in my opinion, I have not found anywhere that is potentially as quick as this one. So I will show you that after we finish this up. But even these types of dungeons, like this Athena one here, you'll see that I will probably get some A's and some S's from this one. Yeah, see, I got a bunch of them there. So, you know, with these, you can also get capsules from some of these Inferno difficulties and things like that. So definitely make sure that you go through and you skip ticket through these, or you just auto through these, or heck, you can even play through it. This one here you can do as well. I just do it once a day because it's a daily mission that you'll see pop up after I skip it. But this can also give you letters, so very nice. Nothing new about this world drop event from the previous ones. It's pretty much the exact same, so this pretty much will kind of be something that you can use for future events as well, I'm assuming, unless they decide they're going to change things down the road. But for now, this should be relevant to this. But this way, you know, you can kind of save time and just kind of skip through this stuff, like I said, if you've got plenty of skip tickets. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think. Yeah, we'll go ahead and finish this up, but I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to show you in this one here. You can also get it from these. I actually need to tomorrow get through the rest of these tiers for this one and get some of these summon tickets from these, because there's 2 in here I can do. But yeah, so go ahead and skip this, and you can go ahead and get more of your letters. You'll see there I got plenty of gold ones. We're getting quite a few of those, which is nice. But like I said, it's actually not very hard to get these letters. It just comes down to what's the kind of most cost-efficient way of doing it. So yeah, that's going to be the Advent section. And then if you go over here to your power-up dungeon, you'll see that that also is going to give you letters as well. But before we get into all that, because that's pretty self-explanatory, let's go to this section here. Epic Quest is also going to give you letters, which is nice. If you actually will go ahead and go into this so I can show you, it'll actually have it sectioned off up here, so it will make it as easy as possible to see where you can get specific letters. So there you'll see where you can get your A's and your S's, as well as your KOF letters. So definitely when you're doing your daily capsule missions there, that'll be beneficial. You'll be able to take advantage of that there, so that's nice. But this here is where I like to farm. It's this mission right here. It's going to be the last one. It's going to be Opposites Attract, and you can pretty much auto this in 100 times in, like, I'd say about an hour and 10 minutes or so. All you need to do, pick your favorite red character, pretty much whoever you want, you know, whoever is going to get through it the quickest. You know, here I'll just go ahead and do one run so you guys can see. I'll use K so you can see how fast it goes, and for lore purposes, we'll just use K. It makes the most sense, right? But yeah, if we use K here, you'll notice that he's going to take her out pretty darn quick. And the reason why I like to use this one is you'll see that you'll be able to get A's, S's, KOFs. It doesn't matter. All the letters are going to be in here as drops. So being that Kula is pretty squishy and you can get through this very quickly, as you'll see right here, boom, done. So it takes a couple seconds, really. We'll see how long. I think it was 2 seconds on the clock there. But yeah, you can get through this very, very quickly. Usually what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will just set up my team and have my whatever red character I want in the leadership role so that they go in there on auto and they just kind of blow through this. And you could even pick a non-red character, it doesn't matter. But this here, for those of you who don't know, the 2000 story is going to be one of the few parts of this entire game where you can kind of reliably and quickly, and the operative word there is quickly, farm. Not just the KOF letters. Those are kind of all over the place. It's the A's and the S's. that are nice. So as you'll see here, I just skipped ticket through this a few times and you'll see how many I got there. So you can also get capsules there. So yeah, I would definitely use that. That's what I've always used, and I've never had an event where I haven't gotten all the boxes. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys there in the story stuff. If you go in here to your usual, like your championship and your infinite battle, your league match, all of your different PvP, PvAI modes are going to give you these as well. So for those of you who play PvP, you'll be able to take advantage of some extra AS tiles, and then obviously just do your normal daily stuff for your AI battles, and you will get some extra letters as well. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys for this, I think. I don't think there's anything I'm really missing that's all that important. Really, it's all over the place, and it really just, I think it's pretty much almost all modes are going to give this to you outside of like the New Year's thing, and then some of the specific challenge modes. But I just really wanted to show you guys the opposites attract kind of, I don't want to call it, we'll just call it a tip. Put it that way. I don't want to call it kind of a hack or anything like that. It's nothing anywhere near that extreme, but it's definitely nice to be able to get through there quickly. And you'll see there we're already well on our way with some of these. So yeah, so that's pretty much going to be that section of the video, guys. That's going to be the New Year's event. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Make sure that you try to farm as much as you can for those boxes. But let's go ahead and move on to some King of Fighters 15 news. And the SNK has named Tomohiro Nakata as the official illustrator for KOF 15. And for those of you who do not know who Tomohiro is, he has worked on King of Fighters All-Star art in the past as well, but he has worked on King of Fighters 14, and his art is very, very nice. As you can see here, this is the official kind of statement from them, taken from their Twitter account. But the exciting thing about this is this image here of Tomohiro was released, I believe, last year, and nobody really thought a whole lot of it other than they were like, oh, well, that's Raiden, that's weird. Well, now that we know he is the official illustrator for 15, we have to wonder, does this mean Raiden is returning in King of Fighters 15? Now, Raiden, for those of you who do not know who he is an Australian wrestler. He debuted in Fatal Fury. He was one of Geese's henchmen. And basically, after the events of the first Fatal Fury, he went from, if you know your wrestling terminology, he went from a heel, which is bad guy, to a babyface, taking off his mask. He became a character known as Big Bear, and he returned in Fatal Fury 2. And then he pretty much has been around here and there, but he's never been an uber popular character. But then he went on to be in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and then he was also in King of Fighters 12 and 13. So yeah, it's interesting to see him here. I'm excited to see him potentially being in the game. As you can tell, the art here is very reminiscent of 15, so we'll see. It's potential that this was a leak and we didn't even realize it, but hey, we'll see. Time will tell, but that's exciting. So let's move on to more King of Fighters 15 news. SNK released a Shuni trailer, and basically it's just a hype trailer. It's going to show off of some of Shuni's kind of skills and animations, and more importantly, more of the graphics for the game. And the game looks great. I understand those who are purists and don't like 3D art or at all, even though I think this is a good little kind of in-between two kind of, you know, the 3D and the 2D with the way they're shading things in the art direction, thanks to Tomohiro. Now that we know that, he is the one in charge. But yeah, it looks good, and Shuni, there's nothing there that's too, you know, extraordinary as far as things that we need to deep dive into. But again, I'm a big fan of this character. He was one of the characters that I picked as a character I want to see this year in the game for King of Fighters All-Star as a FES. So I am a fan. I think he would look very cool for King of Fighters All-Star with the way some of his animations work. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, he was pretty much introduced to be a new kind of protagonist for the franchise, kind of like a new version of a K or a Kyo, you know, a new kind of pseudo main. And you know, I never had an issue with him. Some people hate his style. I think he looks unique. You know, I don't think he's anywhere as ridiculous as some other characters, but hey, everybody's different, right? So yeah, guys, that's pretty much today's video. Not a whole lot there to talk about, but it is exciting to see more King of Fighters 15 info, and they tell us that next week we'll be getting more, so hey, here's hoping we get a little bit more than just the character trailer next week. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it was a long one, but we had a ton to go over. If you haven't already done so, smash that like button and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. We're almost to 500 subs. Let's get it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Continue. Game